So, Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for today, Lord, as I speak. Let it be from you. Guide me. Allow me to speak my truth. Allow me to be honest, open, transparent. As I keep journaling, I pray this helps somebody else as much as my journey has helped me. Continue to walk with me, be with me every single day, every single hour, every single minute. And keep me and allow me to keep being bold whilst I journal. In Jesus' name, amen. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Julian here, as per usual. Welcome to JM Journal. This is another entry. I keep forgetting the numbers. I should really remember better. I think this is entry 7, but I think this might be around about the actual 10th entry, technically. So here we are, 10 episodes deep, I think. Might be a bit more, but here we are. What an amazing time to be here. I'm grateful for everyone that has been on this journey so far. You know, I'm just going to keep reminding everyone, like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell as well if you can, if you will, so that we can keep this train going. You know, the last couple of weeks I've had a few people come to me kind of expressing how it's helped them, not just in terms of their journey, but also in helping them understand me. I know I'm a complex individual in some regards, so I'm glad that it's helping people. I'm glad that it's allowing people to talk freely about some of the things that people are going through. So, you know, it's doing the work that I hoped it would, and we keep going. So obviously I keep saying this, like, it's not that I wasn't planning to do today. I totally forgot that it was Monday. So by the time I was, it was time for me to come, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about today's episode. Neither have I thought about how I'm going to get to where I need to get to record it. And, but we're here, we're here, which is good. And we make the most of it. And as I was coming here, I was just musing, thinking about what to speak about. Not every week has to be deep, you know what I mean? Sometimes this is a journal, so there's going to be times where I just talk, I won't say foolishness, but, it's not going to be the deep talking about addiction and coping and all those kind of things every single time, or relationships, So we're just here, but we might get there. I don't envisage this being a 45-minute thing or a half an hour thing. But one thing I do want to say is that English weather is trash. It has rained all day. When I woke up this morning, it was just dark. Not because it was nighttime, the sun hadn't come up, but the sun had come up, and it was still dark, just grey, and it was just trash. I didn't want to go nowhere. The England game was on today, and I thought to myself, do I go and find a place to watch the game? But then I looked outside and just saw greyness, and I was like, yeah, allow it. This can get watched in the yard. Talking about the England game, hold tight. The Three Lions. I'm not gonna say those 3 words just yet. Give me 2 more weeks, and it might come out. But it was a really good performance today. Hold tight, my ninjas, who scored 5 goals out of the 6, which is very interesting. And one of the first thoughts I thought about when I saw all those my fellow brothers scoring goals for England was, I wonder what all those people that were being racist after the Euro finals, I hope they're not celebrating, because you dogs are the scum of this earth. Oh God, maybe I shouldn't say that, but you people like that are just the bottom of the barrel. And I find it very interesting, because I'm sure those same people were celebrating hard today. Apart from the hardcore ones, I saw a tweet. And I think this must have been when it was like 3-0 at the time. And a guy said that he was in the workplace, and let me find it, sorry. And someone said, oh gosh, let me find it. It was the other group chat. Someone said,
a few moments later,
they said that somebody was saying that it's technically 0-0 because they're still waiting for an Englishman to score. And by that logic, you idiot, you would have lost 2-1 today, tramp. I have to love everyone. Do you know how mad it is that as a Christian, we're called to love people like that? People that are so narrow-minded that skin color is a problem. It mads me every time, and I think, you know, that's the part of this Christian faith for me that is challenging. I was watching Grey's Anatomy the other day, another great show. Started watching it, and there was an episode where a patient was refusing a black doctor because they were black and he was a Nazi. And in the end, the black doctor had to end up doing surgery on this person. And in spite of still, like, she had some marital issues, and she was putting off a meeting or a conversation with her husband to do this surgery. And if to be fair, the surgery was at the detriment of her marriage, number one. But she said that she took an oath and vows when it came with a medical license to treat everyone as equal. And it's mad, because I don't know what I would do. Because the same person that I would be called and obliged to try and save would be the same person that would want to do harm to me, or someone that is like me, or agrees with certain things. And I'm just like, wow, we really have to rise above, and this faith, this faith that we hold to goes beyond speaking in tongues. It goes beyond singing in church on a Sunday. Those are the kind of situations where I think, like, that's a test of your humanity, because your humanity will want to clap up every single one of them, and rightfully so. But the call of Christ is to a space of speaking truth into that space of lies, and to think that God could actually save that person, and that person could also be in heaven, like, that's just mad. But anyway, my point was, I was just thinking about the fact that there's definitely some people in this country right now that were being racist, differently racist, that are now jumping and shouting at the fact that these guys have scored for England. And it harkens back to that whole thing of, like, we're useful when you want us, but we're not useful when you don't want us. And I always think, when is this going to go? Is racism something that we're going to have to battle forever? And especially over here in the UK, it's like covert. It's that underhand, unseen, like, behind closed doors kind of racism. Whereas, like, in America, it's just straight up in your face. And I always say, I'd prefer you just be racist and then I know about it, rather than the system be rigged and then it's made out that it's not rigged and I'm the one that looks crazy, but I know that it's rigged. You know what I mean? But that's a tangent thing. But basically, England won today. I saw someone on Twitter also say that they're not going to be as invested this time round. And I don't think I am. I think maybe because it's a Winter World Cup as well. It feels weird, like the fact that the World Cup's happening now. It's not giving that summer vibe. But if England get through the group stages and we get to the quarters, and we might get past the quarters, there might be a little bit of a chant coming out. You know what I mean? You might see me with an England shirt on, but good luck to the boys, especially my ninjas, and we go from there. But yeah, so there's one thing I did want to talk about today, and I don't know how much I want to go into it, because it's still kind of fresh for a lot of people. So for those of you that don't know me, I go to a church in Birmingham, and our pastor has been with us for 20 years. Been with this particular congregation for 20 years, and I've been at this church for 8 years now. 8 years, 2014 officially. 8 years. So it's like 2014. And the wider congregation found out yesterday that our pastor is moving on to a new church after 20 years in this church. And being on the CPC, so the deacon board at church, I found out a few days earlier. So I had a few more days to kind of process it somewhat. But even yesterday when it was announced and there was a mass reaction, it was quite surreal. I think the last time I've been in a situation like that, I was 11, and my only experience of church transition in terms of pastors leaving and coming wasn't good. So naturally there was an element of it being triggering in one regard, but also, you know, it just seeing the reaction of everyone, it just testament to how loved my pastor is, and rightfully so. He's a people's pastor. Do you know what I mean? He's a great preacher, but then also as a pastor in terms of how he relates to people, the relationships that he's built with people, he's grown with people. You know, there are young people in my church that he's known from birth, and that's all they know. They don't know any other pastor. Do you know what I mean? By the time I was 11, by the time I was 12, I had four pastors in my local church, in my original church. And so I can only imagine what it's like to lose a pastor after 20 years. That's a generation, that's a lifetime for some people. And it's a lot. I think for me, there's a lot of processing I have to do, because it kind of evoked or brought to the surface some feelings that I haven't really thought about for a long time. Not that I'm being abandoned, but there's an element of abandonment. You know, I said to someone yesterday, I said, this is the same feeling I had when my dad left home. I'm getting the same feeling of despair, as in I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I think when I think about the relationship I have with my pastor, with my bishop, it's because it's very similar in certain senses to my relationship with my dad. Even in terms of timing, in terms of when he came around to be my pastor, it was around the same time that my dad was leaving home. And my dad's in my life. I want to make it very clear, my dad's in my life. Our relationship did take a bit of a turn when he left, and it took a few years for it to get back to where it is, and it's in a good space now. But in that time where he left, and then loads of life things happened after he left. So, you know, grandparents dying, family members passing away, pregnancy, well, getting someone pregnant and becoming a dad. My dad was there 100%, but also my bishop was there as well. And he has been like another father to me. You know, whenever I talk about it, I can get emotional. So I'm going to hold it down today because I'm a big man, you know what I mean? But he's been like another dad, and especially in the church space on a week-to-week basis, you know, seeing this guy and being able to have conversations, and he's able to ask the questions that he needs to ask, and, you know, really kind of treat me like a son. You know, I'm losing that now again. And like I said, the similarities between when my dad left and what's happening now is very similar, because, you know, one of the things I said to my dad when he told us that he was leaving, I said to my dad, I don't have a relationship with you where I call you. You know, if I call any of my parents, at that time, it was if I call any of my parents, I'm calling my mom. You know, my relationship with my dad is you're present. You're there in the house. Our conversations happen spontaneously. Our conversations happen because you're there. You know, we are able to sit and talk for hours because you're there. You're present, and you're not going to be there anymore. So I don't know how to have a relationship with you when it's not about you being present. And, you know, over time, I've had to kind of try my best, and I'm not great at it, because that's how the relationship was with my dad. Try to do better. Now having to transition to a space where it's not about the present in terms of physical presence. It's about being there in terms of like phone calls, conversations, texts. And I think the same thing's happening with my pastor now. So, you know, I know what days my pastor's in the office. So I know if I want to talk to my pastor, if I want to speak to my bishop, I can roll up to church and we'll have a conversation. I'll just grab him at a moment and just, even if it's for like 5-10 minutes, I know where you are, kind of thing. I know you're present there. I know this is the day you're going to be in. I know these are the hours you're going to be in. And, you know, when I've needed some of those words, those words of counseling, you know, he's been there. The presentness of him has been part of the rock of what our relationship has been. And it's going to be weird, you know, it's going to be weird. I find it hard to open up to men anyway, because of my relationship with my dad. And my dad was and has been part outside of my grandparents, my grandfathers anyway, like in terms of a male influence, he was the ultimate for me growing up. And obviously with life and things that happened, it kind of changed. I won't say changed, sorry, but, you know, the superhero syndrome or the superhero mindset or outlook I had of my dad changed in some respects. So it was hard for me after that whole thing with my pops and stuff to trust men, to trust to be able to put my trust in a man to be an example to me. And I found someone, you know, my dad is definitely still there. I want to make it very clear. He is, but I found someone that is in a career road that is similar to where I would like to go at some point, that is an example of how to be a family man, how to run a church, how to manage so many different things that comes with. I'm able to have those conversations, and I'm just, the part of me is a bit scared, and I'm like, well, you're not going to be here, so, and then you're going to have a whole nother congregation now that you have to kind of pastor and have responsibility for. Like, what happens if, you know, when I would have easily been able to come and just say, yo, Bish, let's have a chat, man. What you saying? This is what I'm facing right now. Can I get some advice or whatever? You know, that's not going to be as freely accessible anymore. And it's just sad, man. Like, I think, as I said in a group chat yesterday, I said, I ain't cried yet. I will. But I need to make sure I cry before a public space, because I know that cry is going to be ugly, man. It's going to be ugly, man. Because that's like my dad, innit? It's like another father for me, innit? And I appreciate him. And, you know, people will speak so highly of him. And you know what? Like, on a personal level, he has taken so many daggers for me, bro. Like, with that whole thing when I got when I got someone pregnant, because I was on the trajectory to start going towards licensing, and even how he handled that, he protected me, bro. Like, people were trying to come for my neck, fam, and he just covered me. And in doing so, you might have even stunted some of the things that he could have done. And for me, that's a true man, a true father that's able to say, you know what, I'm gonna cover this person because I see what they're gonna be and I see what they can do. Man, Bishop, man, I'm gonna miss you. We still got a couple months, man, so I'm not trying to do this whole farewell thing too tough. And you know what, you might have to come on this thing before you go. Do you know what I mean? I'll make sure I edit it so people don't hear the foolishness that you come out with sometimes. But he's going to be greatly missed by us all. Yesterday was emotional when I saw a lot of the responses, because the man is special. And of course the church is bigger than the man. And that will be the test. Bishop Webley did say, he said, how we respond to this in some respect shows the fruits of what Bishop's put inside of us. So those that are listening that do go to my church, this is an opportunity to wild out or to act like a fool. This is now an opportunity for us to start being mature in our faith and tapping into giftings, tapping into ministries. These things that Bishop has wanted us to do for so long. Now's the time where I'm expecting way more of my peers, way more of my age mates to step out and act accordingly with what we believe, number one, but also with the call that God has on their life. So yeah, my big Bishop, I miss him, man. And he's a great guy, and I'm hopefully going to continue learning from him, man. Do you know what I mean? So all the best to him in his endeavors. Massive shout out to the incoming pastor as well. I will say that I'm excited for what that's going to look like as well. There's a relationship with this man that precedes him coming as a pastor as well. So I'm looking forward to what that might do and what that might look like. I'm just looking forward. It's going to be a new season. It's going to be a new age, like new responsibility. That in some respects I was a bit like, scared. I don't know if I want to do this, but overall, God pushes us into spaces of discomfort to enable us to find our way. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, as Philly would say. Just keep pushing, and yeah, this is the end of the journal for today. Be blessed, guys. Thank you for listening. 100%. Remember to like, share, subscribe. With this, click the notification bell as well, so that you know when things are coming out. Trying to get these out every Tuesday. So yeah, have a great week and keep journaling. Peace. Yes, people, thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for the next entry of JM Journal. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, keep journaling.